Be prepared. The 10th of June, 2025, is not an ordinary day. Most people will treat it like any other Tuesday, but quietly, beneath the surface of ordinary things, energy has already begun to shift. And this time, the shift is internal. This is not a day for socializing. This is not a day for explaining yourself, overthinking, or connecting. The 10th of June is a day for withdrawing completely, intentionally, and without apology. Because what is forming is not yet visible, but it is coming. And the moon, just a breath away from its full light, is watching. In the hours before a powerful full moon, there is something that uproots everything. And this full moon, the 11th of June in Sagittarius, aligned with Jesha, is not gentle. It is decisive. It is piercing. And on the 10th of June, your body already knows this. That's why you may not feel well, tired, restless, disconnected. This is not confusion. It is preparation. You must stay away from the noise, not because you are weak, but because your system needs space to reset, because this full moon will not wait for you to be ready. It comes on its own terms and seeks those who are truly aligned. So if you feel the urge to withdraw, honor it. Cancel the call. Skip the conversation. Let the silence show you what words cannot. If you've already been distancing yourself from people and choosing solitude for the past 2 days, this is not something to be dismissed. There's a deeper reason for it than you might think. And shortly, I'll explain why. First, know this. This video won't find ordinary people. This video reached you before the 11th of June because you needed to hear it. Before we go into this, I want you to do 3 things. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave the number 777 in the comments. You can also share it with someone you want to benefit from this video and support their spiritual awakening. Now, let's go deeper. There is something you should know about this special time period. Because on the 10th of June, you may feel like nothing is happening, but in fact, everything is happening. The day may start as usual. The calendar is ordinary, the hours are quiet, and your surroundings may be the same as always. But the energy is moving far beyond what is reflected on the surface. The 10th of June isn't just a stopover one day before the full moon. This day is a passageway through which you walk between closed doors energetically. And this passageway isn't the kind everyone will notice. It's quiet, still, but deep. This day isn't meant for being outwardly open, but for turning inward. It's a time designed not for being social, but for being isolated. And this isolation is not about loneliness. On the contrary, it is a necessary state for protection, alignment, and spiritual clarity. The full moon on the 11th of June will be powerful. This full moon, which will occur in Sagittarius, will also take place in the Jesha Nakshatra. This means that it is not just a completion, it is also a test, a threshold, a transitional energy. The day before the full moon, on the 10th of June, the energy is still working in invisible layers, and this work goes unnoticed by most people. In fact, this is one of the most important effects because it is easy to be caught off guard. This month, the moon is not behaving as we know it. Quietly, without drawing attention, it is moving toward a point in the sky that ancient astrologers carefully observed and warned about. On the surface, everything may seem calm, but deep down, energy is shifting. This creates micro-level tremors in our spiritual system. Many people will try to socialize, blend into the crowd, and appear normal during these days. But this energy is not on their side. This is a time for inner awareness, not external distractions. Because as external voices increase during this period, the frequency of the inner voice becomes distorted. Therefore, withdrawing, distancing yourself, or even doing nothing does not make you lazy. On the contrary, it resets your energetic system. The moon is observing right now. Who can carry silence? Who is still dependent on the outside? This is being observed. If you feel the urge to withdraw inward during this period, if you feel uncomfortable in social settings, if you feel the need to distance yourself from people, this is no coincidence. This is your energy body trying to protect you. Because as we approach the full moon, frequencies rise and vibrational fields become more sensitive. And being in contact with too much external energy can cause you to lose your own frequency. It can create not only physical, but also emotional and mental confusion. That's why it's really important who enters your space today. As it approaches, you will see more clearly that this full moon is not just an astrological event, but a frequency update. The moon carries not only its light, but also a message. And before that message arrives on the 11th of June, your system needs to be immersed in silence. Because this full moon won't ask, "Are you ready?" It will simply happen. That's why the 10th of June is the day for the adjustment. And this adjustment cannot be done in a crowd or amid distractions. In some ancient traditions, this period before the full moon was called the glass hour. Fragile on the outside, intense on the inside. During these hours, the perception of time changes. Thoughts may become heavy, emotions may sharpen, and your body may feel as if it's connected to a faint electrical current. Sleep is fragmented, and dreams are filled with indecipherable symbols. These dreams are not merely the workings of your subconscious. They are also the seepage of energies belonging to the future. They are the manifestation of what has not yet happened at the frequency level. The future touches your space as information during this brief time frame. So pay attention to everything you see on the 10th of June. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you thinking? What are your emotions reacting to? Because these days are days when energy records are kept, and those records become reality in the future. That's why being alone doesn't just silence the outside world. It allows you to hear the inside more clearly. A single glance, a word, or an image can rewrite your frequency. These days, your mind is like a recording device. Everything you hear continues to stay with you in the days to come. Because the greatest difference this full moon brings is this. Everything begins with energy. And this time, what begins in energy quickly transforms into matter. That's why preparation starts now. On the 10th of June, silence is not just for peace, it's also for choice. This full moon is not here to catch you off guard, but to align you with yourself. But this alignment happens not on the outside. It happens on the inside. How you feel when you wake up tomorrow morning will be determined by what you allow tonight. So, cleanse your space before you sleep. A simple intention is enough. I take only what is mine. I release the rest. Because the glass clock is counting down, and the full moon isn't waiting, it's coming. And when it arrives, do you know who will feel the difference the most? Those who choose silence. Those who trust their intuition rather than the crowd. Those who can remain calm. The 10th of June is the day the full moon speaks through its shadow. And if you dare to stay in that shadow, the light will begin to speak to you that night. As the 10th of June transitions into the 11th of June, something will change. Dreams will not separate from reality. On the contrary, they will draw closer to it. The thin membrane between consciousness and the unconscious will temporarily become transparent. While you think you are sleeping, you may be energetically reprogrammed. Emotions may rise like waves from the past. You may feel like you're in a place, but that place does not feel familiar. Or in a familiar place, everything seems a little off. Doors are in the wrong place. Light is missing. People are silent but heavy. These types of dreams are not light, but they do not contain messages because they have not yet been written. This is not a warning. This is an eclipse state. Spiritual energy works with frequency, not conscious memory. So everything you feel tonight, even if there is no explanation for it, is recorded. Because the moon will be at its farthest point apogee, and this point does not relax us energetically. On the contrary, it compresses us. It is a night when time suddenly becomes heavy. Meanings pile up behind words, and even the most ordinary emotions echo. In this state of eclipse, your soul wanders as if it were on the final lap of a plane about to land. It has not yet touched down, but the landing is imminent. And the moon in this process is not just a celestial body, it is like a spiritual traffic control tower. It manages the waves, regulates the transitions, and adjusts the frequency flow. When the moon retreats, your energy system does not remain empty. On the contrary, when a void suddenly forms, your body, soul, and mind react to it. While seeking balance, it lunges forward, shakes, and accelerates. We can also call this a reflective energy shock. That's why how you feel before going to sleep on the night of the 10th of June is very important. And if you wake up on the morning of the 11th of June and still feel a sense of incompleteness, know that this energy is still speaking to you. It is not yet complete. It has not yet been revealed. But you are passing through that gap. And here's a critical difference. While most people will be focused on the full moon on the 11th of June, they will overlook the fact that the real transformation began on the night of the 10th of June. Because this night is not about decisions. It's about frequencies. So what you think, feel, and focus on during these hours is not ordinary. As the moon slows its rhythm, the universe opens up a space for you. And this space is called the glass hour. Fragile, silent, but powerful. The glass hour is that delicate slice of time when the outside world feels almost frozen. Neither new moon nor full moon, right in the middle. A space that feels empty, but isn't. This is the moment when the universe whispers, "What do you want now?" But not by shouting, by whispering. So quiet that you must silence your own voice to hear it. Every word spoken, every thought formed during these hours is imprinted like an energy stamp. Every joke uttered during this period carries the energy of intention, even if unconscious. When you say, "I can't do it anyway," this energy echoes throughout the universe. The same goes for when you say, "This job will find me." Because at these moments, the frequency transition is open and energy is more permeable, the universal system is more sensitive to vibrations. So on the 10th of June, choose your words carefully. Pay close attention to your thoughts. Be mindful of where you direct your gaze, because the focal points you create unconsciously throughout this night will shape the spiritual landscape of the coming weeks. Energy is not testing you, it is observing you, and more importantly, it is recording you. So if you feel an unexplained restlessness, if you can't stay still, if you struggle to focus, or if you have an inexplicable urge to move, don't be afraid. This energy surge is temporary but valuable. It gives you a temporary spark, but this spark is not meant to be wasted. It is meant to be directed not for making big decisions, not for making grand speeches, simply to guide you with a simple awareness, perhaps a step, perhaps a breath, perhaps just an intention. Because if these sudden bursts of energy are not channeled correctly, they leave you feeling drained. But if they are directed, they become seeds. And the full moon on the 11th of June will bring that seed into the light. This full moon will not be gentle, but it will be clear. And this clarity may challenge those who are unprepared. And that is precisely why the 10th of June is a day to protect your system. Wrap yourself in your spiritual space. Listen to the silence. Observe how the energies of those around you resonate within you. A glance, a word, a touchal can affect your energy field. Therefore, this day is not a day for connection. It is a day for withdrawal, for aligning with yourself. Because on the 11th of June, when the moon reaches its full phase, there will be no more questions. In that phase, there are only answers. And to receive those answers, you must make space for yourself, starting today. And remember, the sense of loneliness you may feel during this process is actually one of the moments when the universe is protecting you. This isolation is not exclusion. It is a kind of adjustment, permission to stay away from all factors that disrupt your frequency. And if you accept this permission, the full moon will show you not only its light, but also a new direction. And now, as we step into the 11th of June, everything is slowly falling into place. It's as if an invisible weight that has been building up over the past few days is intensifying tonight to show us exactly why we are here. This is not just any full moon. This full moon in Sagittarius comes with a power that scans our inner systems, magnifies the gaps it sees, and makes visible what we have ignored. And it does not do this silently. If you feel a sense that something is about to change within you, you are not alone. The slowness, stillness, and even moments that felt like emptiness over the past few days were actually preparing you for this full moon. The moon moved away because it wanted to create a void toe, purify you from external influences, and allow you to hear your own energy. Today, that void begins to fill. But what it fills with, that's up to you. If everything has felt a bit fuzzy, blurry, and incomplete in recent days, it means your system is trying to make room for new energy. The full moon is coming to fill that void with meaning. Sagittarius expands. It points to the target. It clarifies, but it also expands the directions you have not aligned with. So if there is still an unresolved issue within you, this full moon may highlight it. Your emotions may grow, your thoughts may accelerate, and the things you have suppressed may return. Because this energy now wants you to see, not to run away, but to confront, to speak where you have been silent, to reclaim your presence in the areas where you have retreated. And yes, it can be challenging, but it is also deeply purifying. Tonight, the sky is not talking to you, it is listening to you. All the vibrations you have been emitting throughout this preparation process are now returning to you. The saying, "You reap what you sow," applies not only in the physical world, but also on the energetic plane. This full moon greets you as a sum of all the intentions, thoughts, and decisions you have sown. So whatever you experience today, know that you left its traces in the days before. And if this energy is affecting you, it means your system is picking up the resonance. This is a reminder. This is a turning point. But remember, this is not just about external events. This full moon resonates with your inner energy, centers the heart chakra, the third eye, the solar plexus. Your feelings, intuitions, and will may all awaken at the same time. This awakening may initially feel like discomfort because the system seeks balance between the old vibration and the new frequency. But this is a temporary instability. When the soul finds its alignment, movement begins. And when that movement begins, that's when you can clarify your direction. So what should you do? Listen, tune into the silence. Pay attention to the impulses coming from within. The full moon night is not for making big decisions, but for gaining great awareness. Therefore, this night should be observed, not directed. Be a witness to your emotions. What is causing you discomfort? What thought keeps coming back? What energy is slowing you down? And conversely, where are you rising? When do you feel more alive? Because that sense of aliveness is the directional sign. That joy, that inner lightness, that is the space that resonates with your frequency. The full moon wants to amplify that. It wants to tell you, this is your path. But for that, you must first hear your own voice. So you must mute the external voices. You must follow the energy, not the decisions. Because this is not a beginning. This is a connection with the universe, with yourself, with your future. And that is why there is all that slowness, silence, and isolation before the full moon to prepare you for this connection. The flow of your external life has scattered you so much that this time the moon has pulled back, forcing you to observe yourself. Now it is returning, but it is not empty. It is coming back with the intention of showing you what is truly important. The light it brings is not to dazzle you, it is to bring clarity. Sagittarius's fire does not burn and pass. Sagittarius's fire takes aim. And now, the potential within you is at the stage of deciding which direction to flow. If you are still struggling with questions like, why am I here? And what will happen next? Stop, take a deep breath, because the answers are not outside, they are within you. And this full moon is coming to awaken them. So tonight is not just a full moon. Tonight is a Kia threshold that will take you out of the old frequency and into a new timeline. A small decision, a simple awareness, a deep breathing of these can activate the potential hidden within this energy. This full moon on the 11th of June is not a random event. It is a synchronized call, and your response to this call will determine the rhythm of the coming weeks. One last thing, you don't have to ask the universe for anything tonight. Just make space. Be still. Listen, because this full moon has already chosen what it will give you. Now, your choice is whether to receive it or not, and that decision comes from within. This full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th of June signals that something in your spiritual system has changed permanently. You can no longer continue in the same way as before because your awareness has increased. Your frequency has changed, and to dismiss this change is to turn your back on yourself. This full moon has come to make you visible to yourself, to the universal plan, to your own journey. You are here not to hide, but to claim your light. Sagittarius fire ignites the truth within you. Why are you here? When did you stop speaking? How long have you been putting it off? Now is the time to remember the answers. This full moon is more about remembering than knowing. Remembering what your heart knows, but your mind has forgotten. You already know your direction. It was just the old voices that diverted you from that path. Now, this new voice born from silence is calling you back to yourself, and this call is not silent. It echoes in your soul. You feel it in your body like a shiver, like pressure in your chest. Because tonight is not just a celestial event. Tonight is a threshold for you. It is a completion, but not an ending. It is time to give thanks for what has ended and embrace what remains. And everything that remains within you is ready to grow in the light of this full moon. Emotions that have been suppressed for years. Belief patterns passed down through generations. Burdens you carry from your family, but are not your own. All of them are now at the point of dissolution, release, and purification. Because this full moon does not only carry the energy of Endingit, also carries healing, a deep, intergenerational, cellular-level cleansing. And this healing is not just internal. It is powerful enough to also affect your external reality. If you feel tired tonight, as if you are about to let go of a heavy burden, that moment has come. The moon is now bringing everything that has been hidden from you into the light. You can no longer escape, but you don't have to escape either, because you are now mature enough to carry this energy. You are now in a state where you can transform without resistance. This full moon is here not to hurt you, but to confront you with your own power. You no longer need external approval. You no longer have to take your direction from someone else's compass. Because as of tonight, the moon is not only in the sky, it is within you. And this inner light is enough to guide you from now on. The awakening is not beginning. The awakening has already begun, and you are at its center. It is time to return to yourself. See you in the next timeline.